What's up YouTube, That's here, bringing you guys another set of games with my Mega Banette team. I've gotten a little bit of flack saying the teams that I've been playing against aren't super standard and I've just been gimmicking like Sylveons and other normal Pokemon. And to those comments I say like, well, Sylveon's in like every team right now since it just topped like 2 regionals. That's why I built this team to check Pokemon that are in the meta right now. This is definitely an anti-meta team, but people want me to play against more standard teams, so that's what we're doing today. We're fighting against a Trick Room team. It is a little bit wonky for a Trick Room team, but we're going to show how to take apart a Trick Room, and the best way to do that is to not let them set it up. So we're going to start it right off, leading off with Sableye. And just because this team doesn't have Taunt, they don't know that, and I also pack a Fake Out on my Sableye, so I still feel like I'm in a really good spot. We see Hariyama Crest, and we scout the Mental Herb and the Flame Orb. Flame Orb's standard, but scouting the Mental Herb over like a safety goggles will actually come back to help us later in the game. So we'll get back to that later. Starting off turn 1, we see Hariyama switch out. There are no Fake Out targets for him, which is exactly what I want, and we are going to go for a Fake Out onto Cresselia, and then a critical hit Shadow Claw to follow that up. So I don't think I really needed it, but I will definitely appreciate the Shadow Claw crit coming in because it forces the Cresselia to switch out. I think he goes back into the Hariyama. Yeah, Hariyama is going to come back in. I guess there's nothing really to switch to eat that Shadow Claw with like a decent amount of HP left. I also decided to switch out my Sableye for Heatran as Camerupt Mega Evolves, gaining Sheer Force. So any attacks that he does that do I have like a secondary effect, like a burn effect, like this Heat Wave here, they get boosted by 1.3. Still not enough to KO my Banette, but definitely enough to activate my Heatran's Flash Fire. We also see Hariyama's Flame Orb activate. So since we see the Flame Orb activate, and we're not in any real hurry here, we definitely have all the momentum we need. I'm just going to go for a Double Protect. I want to scout a little bit of the Camerupt's moveset here. We see the standard Fake Out from Hariyama, that was to be expected, and we do see the Earth Power. I didn't know if he was just going to go for another Heat Wave to KO my Banette. You can only activate Flash Fire one time, so I just didn't know what he was going to do. I decided that since he has the Earth Power, I'm going to switch out my Heatran going into Sableye here to eat the Earth Power. Not what I really want to do, but it's, it has to get done here. And I go for the Shadow Claw. I was thinking about Destiny Bonding there, because I knew I was going to get KO'd by at least the Hariyama. And I think that doing that much HP to the Camerupt and getting him in KO range for a Pokemon like Breloom is just a better situation than going for the Destiny Bond to KO the Hariyama. Also, I've crit twice this game. If I crit again, that's like really, really good. So I just took a little bit of a risk. I felt that I played the longer game by going for the Shadow Claw and the Camerupt. So going into turn 5, we see Hariyama switch out for Crodiddly coming in here, probably expecting like maybe a Grass Attack or something. I don't really know why you would switch. I think it would be much better to just stay in and go for the Ice Punch, but it's cool. This turn was pretty much a wash. I mean, I Fake Outed a Crodiddly and Spored a Camerupt, and the reason why I actually went for the Spore in the first place was because we scouted the Mental Herb on the Cresselia. If we hadn't scouted the item with Frisk, I probably wouldn't have been that daring to just use Spore out in the open. I mean, his Grass type's already on the board, but Cresselia switch into a Spore would be really, really good for him. So, yeah, scouting the Mental Herb is definitely paying dividends this game, and we did pick up a KO on Hariyama thanks to, I think Breloom KO'd it on the switch in with a Bullet Seed. Camerupt is going to come back in. This Camerupt has used Protect more times than any other move this game. And, yeah, Spore is just like the move to use right now. As I was going to talk about this earlier, I think Crodiddly is a better Gastrodon right now. I was actually going to run one at Utah, but I just couldn't get one in time, and I do think Crodiddly is a Pokemon that's going to see a lot of play at Nationals and Worlds this year, just because it gets Storm Drain like Gastrodon, and it checks other Gastrodon. So, back on topic, we see Crodiddly switch out, and I'm going to go for the Bullet Seed. I need to hit 3 times, and I do hit 3 times onto the Camerupt, picking up the KO. I also take my Heatran, and I'm going for a Stabbed Flash Cannon onto the Crodiddly slot. Crodiddly, remember, is weak against Steel-type moves. It is a Rock Grass, so it's super effective there. And from here, after Lefties happens, we're pretty much going to see a forfeit. So, pretty good game overall. Yeah, I don't really have that much to say. I switched my Heatran on a Fire attack. I got a couple crits that were pretty lucky. I never let him sit up his Trick Room. It wouldn't have mattered too much. I mean, I could have just, like, Shadow Clawed things down. But I took my time. I waited things out. I used Protect correctly, and, yeah, won the game. So, we're going to go into the next game. Next game is going to be against Snorlax's army. He's going to be on the bottom. I know it always switches things up on like the best battles I want to record. So this team is a super standard team. We see Heatran, Landorus, Kangaskhan, Rotom, Wash, Clefable, and Breloom. So note that we both have Breloom. That's probably going to come into play later in this game. We both have Heatran. We both have very, well, I was going to say we both have very meta teams. Well, he has a very meta team, and I have a couple very good Pokemon on my team. So we're just going to start this one off. Get right into it. And we see Landorus, the standard lead, coming out with an Intimidate, usually very fast, packing a Choice Scarf and Clefable. So he's looking to potentially use like Follow Me and just make it so after he U-turns with his Landorus, he can come in with a safe Pokemon. He gets a great Intimidate off on my Banette, and I scout the Scarf on the Landorus, and I scout the Rocky Helmet on Clefable. And one thing to note is that Gunk Shot actually does not make contact, so it doesn't activate through the Rocky Helmet. That's just something to note. So first turn, we go for the Fake Out on Landorus. I don't ever really just want to Will-O-Wisp because Follow Me is such a good move. And I go for the Gunk Shot. It doesn't KO because I'm Intimidated, or else I definitely would have KO'd. We then see Clefable retaliate with a super effective Moonblast onto Sableye. Gets a special attack drop, but it actually isn't going to come into play that much. We start off turn 2 by recovering, and we see Landorus has now locked itself into Rock Slide. Misses on my Banette. Quite luckily for me, and Shadow Claw is going to be enough to take out Clefable, and we go up 4-3. And you know, once we go up 4-3, I immediately want to start going for Destiny Bond. This is a very bad board to try it against, but I'm definitely going to go for it anyways, because I'm in such a good position. I mean, his main wall is already gone. We see Kangaskhan decides to not Mega Evolve, utilize that Scrappy, and just go for the Fake Out on Banette. And I burn the Landorus here, and I'm thinking, alright, if I'm this guy, I'm totally going to try to, Rock Slide and then Double Edge this Banette. That's what I would definitely expect from my opponent this turn. So I go for the Destiny Bond, right? And Sableye recovers, because I think he's just going to completely ignore my Sableye, or else I would have burned the Kangaskhan this turn. He goes for the Rock Slide, right? Gets me to 67%. Both my Pokemon are at 67%. And he Double Edges the Sableye. So I probably should have just Will-O-Wisp that Kangaskhan. But everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. So Sableye's gone. We're at 3-3. Latios is gonna come out. Latios is super strong. This is a Specs Latios. Rock Slide is gonna come out. Note that we still don't see a Mega Evolution from that Kangaskhan. Latios is gonna get flinched by the Rock Slide. That is a Scarf Landorus. And he goes for the Double Edge, but remember, my effects of Destiny Bond are still in play from last turn. Destiny Bond works so weird in doubles, but gonna pick up the KO on Kangaskhan, and that's pretty much what I tried to do last turn. He didn't really know how Destiny Bond worked, so we pick up the KO on Kangaskhan. He sends his Breloom out, and I send my Breloom out, and so I have a Latios and a Breloom versus a Burn Landorus and his Breloom. I go for the Mach Punch, and I thought that did a little bit too low roll. I thought that should have done more, but we'll come back to that. He goes for a Rock Slide, second Rock Slide in a row that's gonna flinch my Latios, and I'm like, man, if I could just Ice Beam, this would be the freest game ever. He goes for the standard Spore, gonna put my Latios to sleep for a few turns, and now I have to play a waiting game. I don't think he has any KO potential on my Latios at all, so I'm just gonna try and wait out the sleep. I go for a Protect with my Breloom. I think that's the correct play to do, and he's starting to trade Mach Punches himself. Now I'm pretty sure that my Breloom is faster than his. I am Jolly, because I want to go for those Spores as much as possible, so if it comes down to a Mach Punch battle, I'm pretty sure I have the advantage. And we're going to see Landorus tick down to Burn, and so I'm going to go for the Mach Punch. I pick up the KO this turn, and that's about the percent that I thought I would do. I usually think that I do about 55%. So first one just got low end. I think that one just rolled about standard. And we see him miss my Breloom, sorry. I mean, pretty lucky for me, and now that Latios has been asleep for like 3 turns, I feel it's probably time to wake up, but I don't even think he gives me the time of day. He just forfeits, so puts my Latios to sleep for 3 turns after flinching it 2 turns, and I still won the game. Came down to the Breloom mirror match. I felt it was a pretty good idea to bring Breloom. I was really surprised that we didn't see his Heatran, but I guess his Heatran probably didn't have Earth Power. If his Heatran had Earth Power, he probably would have brought it. That's just my same excuse for not using Heatran. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to show you guys some games going to be playing against standard teams and doing well. I think that this team is really good. I don't think that I'm going to take it to Nationals this year, but it's probably a team that I'm going to play with at the International Challenge coming up, because that does seem like a good way to test stuff, and I don't want to give away too many secrets while still gathering as much information on opposing Nationals teams as possible. So thank you guys for watching this battle. There's going to be a few more episodes of Mega Banette, and then we'll probably try and move on to some other random mega. If you guys have a mega you want to see featured in these games, leave a comment below and I'll try and make a team around it. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.